you ever just like throw away money? Just throw it out a window, just chuck it out the car. I don't know. Money to burn, literally. Okay. Do you just keep pumping money sometimes into a failing project, like a failing ad, for example? No matter how tiny, itty weeny the return is that you're getting on a huge investment. I used to do the same, right? I did the same years ago. I blew through a fortune because I was making some crucial mistakes. And I want to help you make sure that you don't do the same thing that I did. So if you're serious about actually growing your business and you're even more serious about doing it the right way, instead of just simply handing over your hard-earned cash to Facebook, I'm strongly going to advise you to watch this video all the way through. And I'm going to talk to you about how to define your audience exactly, tightly, right? What kind of audience to choose. And also a step-by-step, not a lot of people do this. I'm going to give you a step-by-step on how to set up your ads so you don't leave money lying around and you don't throw it away either. I'm also, if you stick around to the end, going to show you how to get the best results by testing and how to test and what to test. So, like anyone who knows me or knows me a little bit, I always add a little bit of extra scoop of love to my videos. So for an extra surprise, so you don't fail, I'm also going to be talking about a couple of things like objectives, auctions, tracking. So do make sure that you watch till the very end. Okay, so let me introduce myself. Usually when I'm not doing these wonderful videos for you, I am a strategic business growth coach, and I've been doing that for about 17 odd years. Okay, cue the feeling old moment. Check out the rimples. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about you and how to make your best ads work without throwing away a whole lot of money. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, so what we are doing today is we're talking about what it is that you need to know in order to save your budget. And a big topic of conversation tonight is targeting. Like I said, I do talk fast. Don't worry about it. If you have any questions, I am sticking around a little bit afterwards. So not to worry. First of all, who am I? Well, my name is Jennifer. Hi, nice to see you. And what I do is I am a business growth coach. I've been doing that for about 15 odd years. And I've been in the sales and marketing game, the traditional sales and marketing game, for about 30 odd years. I know I don't look that old. Thank you very much. But the thing is, I help guide business owners like yourselves, probably. I guide them from chaos to clarity to cash flow, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Making connections and making money online. And one of the great ways of making money online is Facebook ads. So we are going to be talking about that. A lot of the things that I'm covering tonight can be applicable to other mediums as well. So, we could be talking about Insta, could talk, TikTok, LinkedIn. It's the same type of principles. So don't ever overcomplicate things. Simple is usually best. It's an old marketing strategy, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So that's what Facebook ads is pretty much about as well. Excellent. So let's start talking about defining your audience, because it is vital in order not to blow your budget straight away, to be talking to the right people, talking to only the people who are in the market to buy from you. Oh, and by the way, before I begin, I do actually have a copy of all of these slides for you guys ready afterwards. So you don't need to be doing a lot of note taking. It's better that you listen and understand what it is that I'm sharing with you, because again, the notes are on the way to you afterwards. Okay, so 3 major targeting options that you're probably aware of, but the basics are always a great place to start, right? So we have 3 different types of audience. The core audience. This is pretty much where most of us, when we start with ads, begin, because these are the type of people who will likely buy from you. These are the people that you target when they haven't heard of your business yet, but you're pretty much sure that they are going to be a fit for your business. And there's different targeting options, and we'll cover a little bit more about this later on, but there's different targeting options that we can do. We can focus on, for example, the location. Where do they live? Or demographics, what kind of age do they have, what kind of sex, what sex are they, you know, or interests. Do, for example, they buy online? Vital one to know. So these are the kind of interests that you can target on as well. Behavior is a great one to target as well. I'm sorry, behavior is, do they buy online or not? And interest is the kind of things that, you know, they follow online. So for example, are they in your kind of group? You know, do they like online marketing? Do they like travel? That kind of thing. Or, you know, you can also target people, your core audience, with the connection that you've had with them on your page, for example, or on your website. So that's your core audience. Now, moving into our next one. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Custom audiences. So a custom audience is a group of people that already know you. These are really the easier ones to actually target with a Facebook ad. Because if, for example, you have a list of your clients and you can have phone numbers or email addresses, and these can be all sorts of people, people who've interacted with your app or your website or with your Facebook page or group or what have you. You tell Facebook, look, these are the people I want to target. And guess what? Facebook works its magic and along comes your custom audience, and it's as easy as that. Next, we have our lookalike audiences. Lookalike audience are the people who haven't interacted with our pages yet or with our business, but they share very similar characteristics with your audiences, with your customers. So what we do with these people is we tell people, hey, these are the people who have interacted with us before. And hey, Facebook, tell you what, look for people like that. And that is when Facebook works its magic, the algorithm comes into play, and hey, presto, lookalike audiences. You want to be careful with this, though. You really want to narrow your targeting properly in order for this to work to a T. Facebook has the science, but you need to tell them exactly where to look and how to look. Excellent. Moving on to the next little section, rules of thumb. Just like in life, there's rules for Facebook ads as well. So when in doubt, please, people, don't get too specific. I've seen ads, people trying to run ads, and they're like, okay, so it's this type of person. So it's a male, and he's 21 and a half, and he lives in South LA, for example. He speaks French and Arabic and English, and he loves the sunshine. Okay, this isn't going to work, right? So please don't get too specific. If you have a hunch, and that's all it is, a hunch, that your data or your audience is mostly male, but you're not sure, then do not target just males, because you will lose out on a huge chunk of your possible market. And that's just throwing good money away. And at the same time, you don't want to get too vague either, because, for example, okay, you have a lipstick brand. And now you know that there's not too many people out there, too many guys who wear lipstick. In other words, what do you know? You can conclude in this case that pretty much your audience is women. So you limit your campaign to women only in this case. So the message here is don't be too broad and don't be too loose in your targeting. Now, here comes a life lesson for you. And this is all about mixing. And it's not just something that you do on a Friday night down the pub, but do not mix your alcohol in a pub. Just like on Facebook, you do not mix your interest types. Why? Because if you mix behaviors such as your custom audience, your lookalike audience, and other types of interest in one ad set, you're setting yourself up for trouble. And here, the key word, I'm going to say it again, is ad set. Mixing is possible within the same ad group, but not in the same ad set, because you're going to get lost in the numbers. Your ad set will underperform, and you won't know which one of the audiences is to blame for the lack of performance. So, for example, a great example is a lookalike audience with purchases in the US only. That's no mixing, right? A bad example is, okay, I want my lookalike audience of purchases in the US with an interest and I want them displayed only on, display advertising. and they have to like, you see, it's mixing. It doesn't work. It's too vague. One topic, one type of interest per ad set is a golden ticket right there. So another thing that you want to do is to make sure that you're defining your core audience properly. And what you want to do is pick a combination. And here I am going to allow you to mix, okay? We're pretty close to the weekend, so why not? You want to have a combination of using your avatar, which is the best way forward, because everything in marketing is avatar, also, avatar or ideal client based. Whether you're trying to get your message out there via an ad, via a post or what have you, the language you use on everything is based on your avatar. You want to get into the mind of your ideal client as best you can. And that is where you define your audience on. Now, so that is the best number one choice. Number two is you can use industry reports, right? Or competitive data. It works well, but don't forget, it's not your ideal client, okay? So you always want to tweak it a little bit more. Also, you can have target competitors or pages with complementary products. Again, not ideal in the long run because they're not your ideal client, but pretty good anyways. Let's dive into them just quickly on each one of them. So your customer avatar is huge. And it's something that I'm going to repeat a couple of times throughout this presentation, because using your customer avatars to define the interests and demographics of your audience is major. So these personas, just another word for avatar, is to be created specifically for your business, and even more so when you're doing an ad for that product. So never forget to really hone in your avatar on whatever it is that you're promoting. So a little, pardon me, an example of an avatar is here. So this is just a random bloke called Marcus. And what you want to do is you look at his name, his job, his age, occupation. But the further you can get into his interests, the better it is. His goals, his frustrations, what does he love? What does he hate? What kind of traits does he have? So the deeper you can dive into the mind of your ideal client, of your perfect client, the better you are. So that works really well if you create an avatar. Now, once you have your avatar ready to go, what you do in order to set up your ad? Well, quite simply, and I say quite simply, but I've taken a couple of little screenshots here, but I have to say that the back end of Facebook Ads Manager keeps changing. At the drop of a hat, they change. So these are generalized pictures, but the behaviors, the topics and the choices were probably, pretty much stay the same anyways. So here we go. We've opened up our ads manager now, and we're going into detailed targeting. And we're going to explore our interests, behaviors, demographics that are going to match our perfect audience, our customer avatar. So in this example, for example, we have advertising, and it's a beautiful little niche, right? We've got just enough people for Facebook to be happy with on the detailed targeting option. But of course, you're not just going to stick with one option. Now, remember here, though, people, and this is a golden piece of advice. I've had 2 or 3 Facebook ad accounts slammed because I did this wrong. Don't ever have your audience too broad or too narrow. I thought that too narrow wouldn't be a problem. Turns out it was. If you have too narrow an audience, which means that the algorithms can't properly populate, it means that you are going to have less results than Facebook wants you to have, and they are going to penalize you for it. So if your audience is too small, you will 9 times out of 10 get some form of repercussion. If you do it 2 or 3 times, you are going to get your ad closed down, your whole ad account closed down. So don't do it, please. 41 million people here on this example, for example, the Business Insider. That's too big, right? Of course, everyone gets that. Unless you have a budget like Facebook or Google themselves, this is too big an audience. So you want to narrow it down further by adding in further demographics or layering other audiences within your ad until you get to a nice, comfortable size. People always ask me, so what size is that? I wish I could tell you. I really do. The thing is, it depends on your budget. It depends on how long you're running your ad. And it depends on quite a few other factors. But you want to find a nice thing that, Facebook tells you it's properly, nicely defined. And then, it should be okay. Moving into our second option that we can use to target people is industry reports. I'm not going to go into detail, but there's websites, for example, SimilarWeb, Alexa, or industry reports, or you can just do your own market research. Some are free options, some are paid options. But if you don't know your ideal client, use this option to try and figure out where and what you should be looking at. Excellent. Option number 3. If you don't have any other options on how to target, or you want to test new audiences, you can just target your competitors, your brands with similar products. I wouldn't advise this option. What I would do is do a backward search on what kind of ads they run, take a look at their audiences, and then see if they will line up with yours. So in other words, you are using their markets, their targeting, but you're just being smarter about it rather than just, blatantly saying, hey, that's it, I'll use whatever it is that you're using. Do your research, people. Honestly, research is everything when it comes to ads. Okay, excuse me while I take a little sip. I live on green tea. Okay, so moving on. Your customer audience, how it looks, how you compile it, is really going to depend hugely on what it is that you're promoting. Okay, so go through your list, go through your avatars, and really study your audience before you put your ads live, right? And figure out what makes sense using or having in mind the product or service that you're promoting. If you are promoting, I don't know, coaching services, it's not going to make sense to target, nail polish factories or what have you. So as a rule of thumb, generally start by targeting the people who are closest to your ad conversion as goals as possible. Conversion here is the key word. So the people who are willing to take action the fastest, who is closest to your ideal client, that is your perfect starting point, or your jump off point at least. Okay, so that was that first little section there. I see quite a few questions in the chat. Is it okay if I tackle these afterwards, or do you have burning questions? I see Molly shaking. Okay, perfect. We'll keep going. Okay, preparation, guys. If you don't prepare, you're going to prepare to fail. And that's exactly the same case in Facebook as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to find your perfect client, but we're going to be talking about relevance even more. So, relevance. In order to be relevant in a market, whether that's branding, whether that's messaging, whether that's your ads, you have to, this is just basic marketing, improve your relevance, improve your targeting by asking yourself some of the basic questions. And I know you know all of these, but again, I'm going through the basics in order to just be able to set you up for success. So, question number 1, where are your audiences? If you're a local business and you can only deliver to certain places, don't target the whole country. That doesn't make sense. It's going to be wasting your budget. And, honestly, Facebook doesn't need your money. Okay, they're losing a lot of money at the moment, but, they don't need your budget. So keep your budget where it's going to do you good. Don't just give it away for nothing. Second question, who are my customers? Vital. This is the demographics. This is the psychographics. Get into the mind, borrow into the mind of your clients. One of the main questions that I always teach my clients to ask themselves is, think about what their client is going to say. And that is always, what's in it for me? Yeah. It's human nature, it's basic psychology, one-on-one, what's in it for me? If you can make that perfectly clear within the first few words, using the image, using the setup of your ads, if you can make it clear to your perfect audience, to your ideal customers, because you're only targeting your ideal customers, aren't you? Forget about all the other people. You want to use attract and repel marketing. You attract the people through your language, through your images that you want to attract. And the people who are not ideal for you, you want to repel. So, if you were to talk about politics, for example, that's the quickest way to repel me. Yeah. So you want to, in your languaging as well, you want to really think about what are the common traits. So as I said before, demographics, psychographics, age, sex, where do they live? But at the moment, Facebook is even adding things like the type of weather in a location. So if you want to be targeting people who are traveling, for example, a lot, and you don't actually assume that people are going to be traveling through rainy, gray days. People tend to seek the sun. So you can target people by weather conditions. Even how amazing is that? Facebook is getting better and better and better at their targeting. Okay, let's talk about a couple of specifics. If you think you know your audience better than Facebook does, then hold up for a minute, because you're probably going to mess yourself up. If you think, or let me rephrase that, Facebook's delivery system is always working its best and working its magic to try and show your ad to the perfect chosen people for that conversion, no matter how broad your targeting is. If you then think you know better and you overly complexly target in your ad, you are probably going to mess up the delivery system. You're going to end up losing a lot of money, and you're not going to be very happy with the results of your ad. So even if you think you know better and you target upon niche, you're probably going to end up shooting yourself in the foot. So my advice, having done this for 15 years, is don't do it. Okay, so let's talk about how to, exclude people strategically, because there is a great art to targeting strategically, and that is great. That is wonderful. But don't ignore the fact that you can also exclude people, because when you narrow down so far, Facebook is going to find the right people for you even faster, and you're going to get better results because of it. So including is great. Excluding is also huge. Don't ignore it. The other flip side of this is whether you are, or if you are, targeting too narrowly. So if this is the case, like I said before, the chances of you getting penalized by Facebook is huge, right? They are really encouraging people to the extreme to broaden their targeting to a point that they can seriously get results for you. So if you are too narrow, please consider using targeting expansion to improve your costs and your results for your campaigns. Okay, brilliant. Moving on. Next, we are going to be talking about split testing. Now, there's a lot of confusion about what split testing is, and there's a lot of trepidation about actually starting with split testing. I'm here to tell you that it's one of the simplest things that you can do. Just be very wary that you do follow some basic guidelines, and make sure you've got the budget to do this, because split testing automatically means everything is double. So whatever cost you have in your mind for your budget, double it straight away, depending on how many split tests you do. But that is a small little rule of thumb. Now, what is split testing? It's simple. It's a way for marketers or people who run ads to test your variables to determine what ad set or what ad works best, and then scale it. Scale it means some people think that you just throw more money and increase your budget on a working ad. Don't do that, because you will not get more results. What you should do instead is copy the exact same campaign and increase the budget in that. That allows the algorithm to work its magic again, because it will, within the first 4 days or first few hours, the algorithms have been put to work. After that, if they have to change again when you increase the budget, like let's call it a week later, it's going to throw it off and you're going to get lessened results. So it's an excellent way, though, split testing, to create more and more money-making marketing campaigns in the future, and making sure that it works. And there's a couple of things that you can test, of course. So best practices. Only have one variable being tested at the same time. If you do more than that, you're going to throw everything off. You want to conduct multiple split tests for accurate results, not at the same time, but working in series. And make sure that when you split test, you have a large enough audience for Facebook to do its thing. Make sure that your ad sets are varied if you're testing your audience or your placement or delivery. And always increase your budget in order to avoid the under delivery, because I can't stress it enough. Under delivery is a killer when it comes to your ads. And after you have done all this work and you figured out what your winning ad set is, then, of course, run that, and you figure out what your winning ad set is by comparing the cost results or ad objectives, depending on what it is that you want to test. Okay, so what can we test? Well, we've got a couple of wonderful options. The creatives is the first place that most people start. So whether that's your text, your headlines, one of the best practices that you can use is have at least one short headline, one long headline, and then in the main body have short text and long text, and put that on a rotation, so to speak. That's a wonderful little split test that you don't actually have to properly split test and put extra money into. But that's how you can test your text. Images, it's relevant, isn't it? One person will love it, other people will hate it. Of course, there's lots of other creative things that you can test, like video type or carousel. Some audiences prefer images, some audiences prefer video. So this is all something that you can test. Audience itself, you can test the variables, who's going to react best. Is this based on a geographical location, the demographics, or the psychographics? Another thing you can test, of course, is delivery optimization. And Facebook has a tool for that called the campaign budget optimization. When you're still setting up your ad campaign, there's a little tick at the bottom that you can add. And Facebook is now going to optimize your budget for you. And this is just advisable to do 9 times out of 10 anyways. Okay, placement. There's lots of different places where your ad can appear. So that could be your Facebook, whether that's your Facebook news feed or your Facebook video feed or your Messenger, Instagram audience network. Again, here you want to know what your ad is going to look like when you set it up. And you want to make sure that you optimize it and test where you're going to get results and where you're not going to get results. In the audience network, you tend to get lots and lots of clicks without any real results, 9 times out of 10 coming out of it, depending on your product. Okay, product set, of course, is another great thing to test. If you have 2 products, try different, set up different product sets to test the waters and figure out where the sales come in and where the sales don't come in. Excellent. One more little sip. All right, thirsty work talking. Okay, so how do we set up our split testing? Okay, again, we go into our trusty friend, which is the Facebook Ad Manager, and we select our campaign objective. And here it depends, it really depends on what product or service you're offering and what it is that you want your ad to accomplish. Do you want more people to know about your brand? Pick awareness. Do you want more traffic, which is a great SEO thing, but traffic without engagement, without conversion, that doesn't lead to a sale, does it? So you want to make sure you really carefully pick what it is that you want to achieve. Well, lead generation or conversion tends to be the two ones that get used a lot. Then again, with the catalog sales nowadays, or the Facebook store, that's a new conversion that's come in lately. Okay, so after we have selected what it is that we want, we're going to name our campaign and turn on the split test button right there. I'm sure it pretty much still looks the same. So that's the next step. And then we want to select what it is, what variable it is that we want to test. That's the creative, the delivery optimization, the audience, and the placement. Remember, we talked about these before. So you need to figure out what it is you want to test. If you don't know what you want to test, you're not going to get any results. Just like if you don't know what you want your ad to accomplish, you're not going to get any results. Simple. So do your homework with this as well. Next, customize your audience. This is where a lot of people run into the first issues when it comes to ads. If you have this screen in front of you, first thing is demographics, psychographics. That's what this is basically about. This is the most general you can get. So pinpoint and get specific and get even more specific. Just like we've talked about before, grab your avatar worksheet and really just hone in on what it is that you can do. Next, what we do is we want to figure out where we want our placements. So, Facebook, Audience Network, Instagram, Messenger, where it is that you want to, place your ad. Take into consideration here, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on, but the graphics don't appear in every placement in the same way. So that is something, always keep in mind that your audio, your picture size or your video size needs to be optimized for every single placement that it is that you choose. Next, what we do is we customize our budgets and our schedule. So we choose between the daily and lifetime budget, and we put in an input amount. Now, another little pointer here, a little by the by, is about a year ago, a daily budget of $5 worked. It still worked. Nowadays, if you want any form of results, because there's so many ads being run, there's so much competition, you really need to start with at least $10 a day, that is. This is something that's coming forward due to the new algorithms, due to the market size. So, be safe. Don't penalize yourself straight away that you're not going to get any of the results that you want, because your algorithm isn't going to go to work for you properly yet if you have too low a daily budget or lifetime budget. Excellent. So that was all about split testing. Now, what I want to do is I want to give you a couple of quick tips on how to save your budget. So big bang for the bucks is always a good place to start. So saving money on Facebook ads. Now, I'm not sure how, if even you're not sure how to play the game, because it is a game, isn't it? It's kind of like playing the stock market. It's the Facebook ads game. You could lose your entire investment, and your entire budget could be blown without any results. That has happened to a lot of people, and a lot of people that I talk to have not gotten the results that they want with ads. However, if you understand the system, you can seriously save a lot of money, and the money that you spend can really earn you a healthy ROI on Facebook ads. So let me give you a few little tips on how to do that properly. First of all, we set our goals and objectives. I've said it a few times. If you don't know what it is that you want as a result, you're not going to get any results. So drill down as much as possible on all of these fine details, because knowing precisely what it is that you want your ad to accomplish is the first step to saving money, okay? Have a clear goal also on what a successful ad looks like to you. So for you, success is, do you want X number of customers? Do you X number of clicks? What is it that for you would have would mean that you have a successful campaign? Okay, and always make sure that your Facebook ads are structured around your ads goals, which is also known as your ad objective. Okay, let's talk about those a little bit more. Ad objectives. So here's some possibilities, okay, some options. You can build an audience and nurture relationships, which is a great place to start when you're building a new brand or a new business. You can sell more. You can remind viewers of what it was that was attractive about you and your brand in the first place. You can build and populate your sales funnel from, top to bottom. Attract return visitors. That's what retargeting does, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a marketer's best friend. You can reach more people near your location if that's something that you're interested in, or you can get more subscribers or more sales. If you don't know what your ad is meant to do for you, you're almost guaranteed to lose money, and you're just taking a long shot in the dark. So don't do it. Okay, let's talk about your demographic targeting, because this is all about who is your persona. Now, the best place to start is, and I've said it a few times, and I want you to say it with me, create your avatar, create your customer persona. This is the jump off point for everything you do. So if there's only one takeaway that you have from today, is create your avatar and dive into the mind and always think, what's in it for me? That's what your customer is always thinking when they look at everything that you put out there. What's in it for me? Okay, so jump into their minds and figure out, who are they? How old are they? What are their hobbies? What's their income? You can target people nowadays on the value of their house even as well. You can target people on their income. So by really understanding who your ideal client is or your customer is, when you're designing your Facebook ad, then this is vital. Always make sure that matches with your ad, matches your persona. Yeah, if you have any discord, any disharmony on what their avatar is and your targeting is, you're setting yourself up for failure. And please get professional help if you think that's the case, because otherwise you're going to blow your budget. Talk to Brent. He's a star at this. Okay, next, Facebook charges. You want to know what it is, right? And how Facebook charges you for your ads. I know that's one of the things that I always wanted to know. So one of the things that you should realize is that there's a difference between a cost per click, the CPC, and an impression. Okay, so as it sounds, cost per click is the fee that you pay every single time when a viewer clicks on your ad. Or if they're just window shopping, with no intent to purchase, doesn't matter. They click. That's all that matters. It's the click. And an impression is when your ad just shows up on a screen. Regardless of whether someone clicks or not, it just zips past, no one's paying attention, but you're getting charged anyway. So 9 times out of 10, impression is not the best way forward, because you don't know whether you've caught someone's attention or not. Unless you've run a split test before and know that you have a winner of an ad, then impressions will work. But you have to have a really, really strong ad before I would advise you to use impressions. Okay, auction. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Facebook charges by auctions. And on average with Facebook ads, you will pay around $5.50 US for about 1,000 impressions. And this is old stats. This is about a year old. So the prices have probably gone up. I know they've gone up in the last 6 months. I'm not exactly sure, but this was what it used to be. A click used to, and depending on your industry, because there's huge variations in that as well, depending on how much how many other people are trying to advertise in the same space. That's another variable of your ad costs. But a click used to be worth about 43 cents. Now, the cost of your CPC, cost per click ad, is based on part on auction. And the auction is basically the price that you bid, but it also takes into account your relevance score. And I'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But often the relevance score beats out on the highest bid because Facebook wants to provide the best user experience for all of you, okay? It really is trying to be your friend, and it deems the highest value, the most reputable, so that is where the click is going to go. So if your ad isn't valued by your customer, if you're not getting the love, then someone who is getting the love with an ad, a similar ad, is going to get the click instead. So you set the total amount that you're willing to pay per click, and you also set your daily, weekly, or monthly or lifetime budget caps. Okay, so you really need to think about a lot of variables. I know it's tricky, and that's why Facebook ads isn't for everyone unless you know what you're doing. And that's what all of these trainings are for. We're trying to get you educated so you're not going to chuck a whole lot of money at Facebook without getting you results. Now, excuse me, the relevance score. So relevancy is vital for Facebook. I just talked about it a little bit. It's the love that Facebook gives you. And it's determined by a lot of different factors based or processed by Facebook's algorithm. Now, the network is primarily measuring viewers' interest in you, your brand, and your product. And in order to save money on your ads, you want to make sure that you focus on the relevance, the timeliness, and the quality of your ads. If you put an image up there that has no relevance, so for example, you are trying to sell cat products and you put a picture of some dude with a sports car, you're not going to have a relevance score, are you? There's a discord. Facebook doesn't like that. You're not going to get the love from your audience, and Facebook is all about the love. I've never thought I'd say that. Facebook is all about the love, but never mind. So it's relevance. You need to make sure that you're getting the love from your audience. Now, another vital thing in order to save your bucks is your design. So apart from the demographics, the psychographics, and your targeting, your Facebook ads design is going to determine whether it's successful or not, whether it proves to be a waste of money or not. Now, on a website, there you tend to have the 3-second rule. With an ad, you tend to have the 1-second rule. In other words, you want to be able to capture, boom, just like that, the attention of someone. You want to have the shock value without it being shocking. You want to have your ad jump off the screen. So, you know, whether that's using colors or faces or with your wording, that's up to you. It depends on your market. And again, it depends on your product. One thing you always want to keep in mind is, and I've said it and I've said it again, and I'm saying it one more time, what's in it for them? What's in it for your audience? And what is it that's going to jump out of the screen at them with your ads? That is where you want to go. So think about how you communicate with your viewers logically, emotionally, demonstrating at all times that you are the one and only solution to their problem, and how can you make your life better? Okay, this is vital. How can you make their life better? What is in it for them? Placement. So placement of your ad is also vital. You are not confined anymore to just your standard newsfeed. You can choose to have your ad in the right-hand column, in Messenger, on Insta, Audience Network, mobile newsfeed, and more. Now, why is this important? Well, one of the reasons is because of the dimensions of your ad might not be the same across the board. Now, I said it before, but some ad formats will cut off a really good portion of your ad or of your image or your text. So it's really good practice to use the most influential text in the first 3 sentences of your ad's text. So have your main point, the wow. So you want to have the wow without the nay. Yeah, that's how a really good headline will look. The wow without the nah. So have that wow jumping out in the first 3 sentences of your ad text. Moving on, tracking. So tracking your ad and the results of your ad is vital because it's going to determine what's effective. You don't want to keep running a losing ad because you're just going to keep losing money. So whether it's underperforming, you have to pull it. Whether it's teetering by the brink, yeah, just make some adjustments. Basically, the whole point here is keep an eye on what it is that you're doing, okay? So possibly you can make some adjustments, or what I tend to do is I create one ad in about 5 different versions, and lots of different ad sets where I test different things, and you pick out the winners out of that. So which ones have the best bang for your buck, keep them running, and which ones are losing money, pool those. All right, bottom line, people, we're almost done. Facebook's ads can be astronomically expensive if you don't know what you're doing. If you're unsure how to create a nice looking ad, an effective ad with a great headline and a great image or a video or what have you, and show it to the right audience. If you're not showing the right message to the right audience, and oftentimes at the right time, you're going to lose money. So make sure you do your research. It's as simple as that. Understand that creating a quality ad that produces an excellent ROI, return on investment, isn't a quick and dirty process, okay? There are lots of tools, there are lots of strategies which you can use to run an effective and beautiful ad, and use them. Do your homework, use the tools, know what you're doing, and that way you're probably not going to lose out on a lot of money. If you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you did, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, and also comment below and let us know where you guys are tuning in from, because that's always really lovely to know. And finally, if you're new to this channel and you haven't already, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification button right next to it. That's a little bell sign, by the way, because this year I am dedicated to making daily videos to hold you accountable to make this your best year yet. With that, thanks a lot for watching and have a great day.